Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to Stoneblock 2 with LD7, and today we're going to be talking about the Draconic energy core. So this big massive guy that's over our farm is the Draconic energy core, tier 8. So Stoneblock 2, at least the version I'm playing, which is the most current stable release, is tier 8 energy core, is in the pack. So basically this has infinite, like, what is that? Million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, 9.2 quintillion RF is how much this thing will hold. Like, we have almost 30 billion RF stored, and we're not even at 0%. So yeah, this thing is great. If you want a massive battery, this is the way to do it. It's basically built out of draconium and awakened draconium blocks. So if you're gonna go to a like a tier 8 like what I've got, you want to have EMC. Otherwise, getting the draconium and everything you're going to need to build it, going to be pretty difficult, all things considered. So I've got the tier 8, not a big deal. However, with this, there are some kind of like tricky things. So as far as building the structure, like, this takes hundreds of blocks. And if you get inside, like, see where all those lasers are pointing? There's another block called an energy core. So if we open up Draconic Evolution, or wait, I did that wrong. Draconic. There we go. So you need an energy core that's at the heart of this giant sphere. So Wyvern core, 2 Wyvern energy cores, draconium ingot, all this is EMCable, so is the core. Then you need energy core stabilizers. For the first 4 levels, you actually only need 1 particle generator, and that's good enough. If you go tiers 5 through 8, you need 9 energy core stabilizers. So particle generator is a draconic core redstone blaze rod, so pretty cheap. And then the stabilizer, you take a generator with 4 diamonds and you get one of those. So since this is a tier 8, you have 9 of these energy core stabilizers in each of the cardinal directions on the sphere. So you need 36 in total. You just build them literally in the center of the sphere on the side. These can be between 1 and 16 blocks away from each side. They all do need to be at the same distance, however, so just keep that in mind. As far as like building the thing goes, once you put the energy core down, there will be a assemble core button, and it will pull the draconium and awakened draconium blocks out of your inventory, assuming you have enough. If you don't, it'll stop. You have to go back up to the core, redo it. So you want to make sure you've got enough blocks to build the actual reactor core when you go to do that. Next thing, if you break any of the blocks of this, you lose all the power inside. So once you build it, you don't want to break this unless you want to lose 30 billion RF or something, whatever. So alright, that's the energy core. That's how you make it, kind of what blocks are required. Not a big deal, relatively cheap, and pretty easy to do once you have EMC. So that is a pretty major change as far as our power is concerned. Like, we have so much power. Like, I've got literally, this is 300 million RF just chilling right there. I've got the 30 billion inside of our ball. This one is 800 million. So I've got RF for days. Like, I've got so much power. And it's because I'm using big reactors. Those are pretty straightforward. I've got several videos covering that in my other playthroughs. It's the same mod. You get uranium, graphite, build your reactor. The bigger the reactor, the more power it makes, yada yada. With EMC, it's really easy to make big reactors because all the parts are EMCable. So, like, if we take a look at reactor, for example, energy case, all of this stuff. So you need energy casing, you need redstone flux power tap, controller. I do the glass. You need fuel rods, control rods, and you need an access port, and that's it. Like, that's all you need to build these. They're really inexpensive. It does take uranium to fuel it, but if you've got auto sieves, you've got uranium, so no worries. And if you've got EMC, you can pull uranium out of the table because it is also EMCable. Anyway, back to the energy core. The other weird thing about this is you have to use energy pylons from Draconic Evolution to access the power with this. So the way these work, you need the energy pylon block itself. So energy pylons, not too expensive. I mean, you need an Eye of Ender is really the only weird thing. If you don't have a good mob farm yet, that might be a problem, but I have Ender, Draconic Core, Emeralds, Draconium, Diamond, 2 energy pylons, and then you also need glass. So the pylon, when it's connecting to this, if it's placed below the stabilizer, you will have your glass on top of the pylon in order to access it. If you place it above this ring, so like up here somewhere, then you would place the glass below the pylon in order for it to link up properly. The other thing to note, you can change the direction input-output by right-clicking on the side with the sphere. So this is input, this is output, this needs to be input because this is where our power is flowing into the energy core. So that's the other thing. If you're using flux points and you haven't already, you're going to want to split your network. So you'll want a power in network. So that's basically all your reactors go into that, which feeds directly into this battery, right? Then on the output side of this cube, which there is over here, it's orange output, you're going to want to have your power out network. So power out, yellow, cool. And the power out network, you connect to everything else. So that's kind of how the flex point piece of it works. It's pretty straightforward. However, the energy pylons can be a bit fiddly. Like, it took me a while to get this set up. I don't know why. I always have troubles with the pylons. The other thing to note, the output energy pylon, like this guy right here, you should be able to just place a flex plug on top of it and have it work no problem, feed into your network. It doesn't though. Like, it does not do that in my game. Like, if I place a flex plug on this, it doesn't pull power straight out of the energy core. It doesn't do anything actually. So I got some cryo-stabilized flex ducts from a quest reward or a loot crate at some point. So I use these because they're infinite transfer to go into a capacitor bank. It didn't have to be this big. I just figured might as well make it, you know, with almost a stack of vibrant capacitors. Then I've got another flux duct coming off of the bank going into the flex plugs for our main network. It seems to work. It shouldn't be that complicated, but it is, so I just wanted to point that out. If you get your output set up and you know you've got it set right, so it should be orange with the flux plug on your output, whereas the input is blue with a flux point. You know, if you can't get your power to flow the right way, try using flux ducts. They seem to be compatible with whatever this is. I even tried the energy crystals and the binder, didn't work. So use flux ducts to move it into a battery, then connect the battery into your flux point. That seemed to be the easiest workaround for me. But guys, that is kind of what we have done with our power system. So we've upgraded a lot as far as power is concerned. We've got all these networks kind of doing their thing. But I mean, we've got power for days. So that's how you set up power for days. You get one of these energy cores, just start dumping all your power into it, get some reactors. So I've got this guy over here, 23 KRF. If I go to my reactor room, I've got this big boy, 105, this one 28.1, and this one over here is 33.7. So all of these reactors together give me about 200k RF per tick, a little less, it's like 180, somewhere in there, RF per tick that goes into our battery. So that's decent. Like, we would need so many reactors to even begin to touch the percentage threshold of our battery that it doesn't matter what we put in, like, we're gonna be good. But guys, that was basically my coverage of the Draconic energy core, how energy pylons work, flux points, wireless power, and our power system upgrade all in one. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, comment, subscribe as always, and until next time, this has been LD7, and we will see ya.